Justin for Monday, November 21st, 2022, looking at SPX on the daily. So the range of today's candle is 28.66, and what we just talked about on Thursday, right, was 28.75. So no, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, Wednesday last week was even smaller. Or no, we're smaller by, gosh, by 9 cents smaller today. That's crazy. Okay. Uh we made a slightly lower low. Otherwise, this pretty much looks like an inside candle. That lower low we made today, you can see it right here. That was definitely a trap. If we scroll back, yeah, so we were going below the candles from yesterday. We kind of talked about, or Friday, kind of talked about, when we get into these levels, like we're just chopping. So, we put in some upper wicks here and here, and then we came right back into that range here. We went down some on that candle and then immediately got bought back up. So this was a bear trap, but then here we are breaking above that pivot, and that's a trap. So then it rolls back down. So this is a bull trap. Here's a bear trap, and the market's just trying to shake people out, and people getting chopped up, going in directionally, going sideways. So if we're zoomed in on a tighter time frame here, you got to really pay attention to where those traps are. Okay, so if that's a trap, we're going to look like we're going to break down and then recover. Don't look to get in when it's breaking out. Look for that retest. So if you see people getting trapped here, well, here's a low, here's a higher low, here's a slightly higher low, and that's a hammer. But this isn't a 10 EMA setup. You want a bear candle closing above the 10. So the 10 EMA is not really working that great when we're chopping. I mean, it was working here, so that would have been a really nice bear setup with the bull candle closing with the 10, but you got 5 bear candles in a row, and then this, so probably wait till that one comes in and then go lower. But it's like, okay, all of that chop, we still broke lower, but it's unlikely. You're not going to have that huge gain if you're getting into something bearish here and it's already had the move from way up here. Your stop can't be up here. I mean, well, it could, it would, I guess, have to be, because you know that's where the last pivot was. But your 1-to-1 is even going to be down here, which we didn't even get to. So on choppy days like this, it's just a matter of looking for those S curves. The only thing I'm really seeing here is some sort of like inverted head and shoulders that then has this as an S curve, or maybe some sort of neckline like that. Still though, the setup is really just with a hammer like that. Or if your stop really should be below here. Taking that bullish, that should have worked for a little bit. What's also really interesting is where we ended up on the day. We basically closed at 39.50, which is a strike I typically would look at. So we look at the call. This call goes all the way to zero. Well, almost zero. I guess it actually closed with a little bit of value. And then the put also comes all the way to zero. So if we just zoom out and look at this, these two options were just totally converging on no value. But look how much value they still had, even just an hour earlier. So here's 2 o'clock, and this was worth anywhere from 430 up to 640. And then this one at 2 o'clock was worth anywhere from 360 to 554. So in an hour, it sells that much premium. It's not giving you much direction on what it's doing, because you've got a really nice base here on the put. We've also got a pretty good base here going on the call, which is still at the same level of that base they made earlier. The only thing I really do like about this call is it shows you that trap. So here's that hammer, that trap, and then it looked like it bounced, came back, and then bounced, and then here's the trap bullish. Then it retested and put in another hammer right here into the range of this one. This option would just be a little bit too expensive to do a $100 risk. Even the range on this candle was 120. So you'd be looking to buy midway into this candle, which ideally would actually be midway into this candle. That's around 350, maybe 4. Didn't even get down to that value. Had a nice move up, but if you weren't in, you obviously missed it. And then, even if you were trying to get in something up here, how much further could it really go? And then you want an option that's further away, maybe 39.75. There's all these factors that go into it later, as you get later in the day. What's the real range this kind of thing could have on a choppy day? where we're mostly inside of another candle, it's not going to have a lot of range. This is, I still feel like this portion was the stair step, thinking it was going to break out bullish. We gap down. It's still kind of a stair step. It's just not sideways. It's sideways to down. Um, we touch the 100. We could still have a really nice strong day up. I don't know if there'd be something happening, outside of the markets, just something out in the world that would cause something like that. Um, I thought we could have a really nice gap up. We obviously didn't. We gap down and we're just chopping. So be careful getting chopped up. I don't have a great setup with this option. I just wanted to kind of really point out the levels in here. Then same thing with the put, like the puts lose in value. You can see a little clearer here on this put that inverted head and shoulders, it's right side up here. So there's your head and shoulders and a neckline, and then here's your S curve. And so when this is coming in this retest, this is what's really nice is you can look at, this would have been great right here. Like here's a bull candle closing below the 10. Take this setup like this, going bearish in a put with, playing this down to the downside in a put translates to how can I play that? How can I play that with a call? So let's see, this candle was 1148. Let's go look at 1148. So that was right here. So we didn't get a bear candle closing above the 10 here on SPX itself in the 3-minute. At 1148, we got something similar where we just pulled back right on through the 10. So really nice consolidation here. This would have been, basically to play this would have been $200 risk, getting in above this candle and a stop below, but even the stop below, you're not below that pivot. So with this option, you could have gotten in, let's say 725, pretty close to the high of 720. And then your stop would need to be probably 425. So that's a $300 risk right there to do that. So I'd be looking at another option. Let's just see what the 39.75 was doing at 1148. 1148, there's still enough time in the day. So that would have been right here. So in this case, this would have been an absolute zero. You could have just bought it at 1 or 0.9 and stopped out at 0. And it actually would have worked to just flip that out for a 1-hour gain out at 2. Barely got to 2.5. If we look at another option that's a little closer, let's say 39.65. What is that one doing with those candles or with that candle? So this one, the high was 220. The range on this was 0.9. So this is still not quite going to work. You'd be getting in at 225. Your stop is at 125. 125 is, nope, we need it below 118. That was the low over here. Ideally below this one too. Or, like I've said in other cases, you're looking for a pullback. Once this sets up and breaks out, you're looking for a pullback back into this range. Didn't really ever get that near term. It obviously did over here once it was breaking down. So 39.65 wouldn't have worked very well. 39.70. Here's this candle. The range is 0.6. Your high is 115. So this would have been probably the easiest one to do, but to find it, quickly, like we just went through, you're getting in at 120. Your stop is down at 0.2, which the low over here is 0.5. So I think that's a little bit of room on that stop. The low on this candle is 0.55. So yeah, getting in at 1.2 above this candle, you would have been triggered in. Wait, let's see. Is that right? No, I said it. Oh, the open was 115. The high was 135. I said that wrong. So you'd be in at 140, stop at 0.4. That still would have worked. Okay, not as much room though. So you're in on this candle. Yeah, 155. So you're in at 140 on this candle. And then this had a little bit more of a move. After we went sideways here, you'd be up. The highs through here, you're up about 1R. And then with this, you'd probably be out. What would your target have been? Maybe your target would have been 4 and it wouldn't have filled. Probably going for an R or 2. So if you got it at 140, you're looking for 240 or 340, and that's it. If you don't get it, it actually, it did. If it didn't hit it, sorry, if you had a higher target and then moved it back, move your target back in, it may have hit it here. But then once we pulled back, we were barely up half an hour through here and then down. So you would have really needed to have the setup to just scalp an R or maybe two and just gotten out. So that's about 45 minutes, less than 45 minutes. So you wouldn't want to be in the trade for much longer than that. So that's a good amount of time to have something as a gain, at least get your stop up so that you're going to get trailed out instead of looking for something much larger. So I think it's feasible. It's just today was choppy. And until we pick a direction here, I mean, just be really careful. Small size, don't get into something. I mean, the 10 EMA is not really working. Beginning of the day, maybe here, but then this chop, you got to let it play out. And yeah, maybe even go down to 1 minute or some sort of smaller time frame to see when are we actually trending, because this was trending on obviously a smaller time frame, give you some better opportunities to get in. But if you're just looking at 3 minute, you got to just wait these things out, look for it to get to those channel levels. So up here, we zoom back out. Yeah, I think I was highlighting, we are definitely, this is the chop zone. So all through here has been really choppy. I guess I could extend it here. So what we did today, oops, that's not what I meant to do. What we did today was chop obviously through here, and that lines up with the lows from yesterday and some of the intraday pivots from Friday. So yeah, we have not picked a direction yet. Maybe we'll pick a direction tomorrow. We still have some lower highs, higher lows from Thursday, but not yesterday, made a slightly lower. But in general, what I'm seeing is, something like that and something like that. So we thought this was steeper, thought this was steeper. Now it's just looking like it's kind of expanding out. You know what? We may eventually come into the long term. What if this just ends up going even more sideways here? That might be what we end up doing. And a lot of people just are going to get chopped out when it's doing this, and then they'll be out of it before it picks a direction one way or the other. So we'll see. All right. Hope this helps. This is Justin. Thanks.